At the outset, I am obviously grateful and thankful to my esteemed teacher. He was like my teacher, Professor J.S. Bajaj, who has given this opportunity to me to have interaction with the great people of this country. And of course, this is simultaneous opportunity to interact with our students as well. As far as this topic is concerned, this talk was to be delivered by the Additional Secretary of Health and Family Welfare. But because he could not make up, so ultimately I have been assigned this task, and one of my vibrant faculty has prepared slide. So don't expect that I shall be doing too much of justice with this talk, but yes, I shall be trying my best, because it is something to do with the policies and awareness of all those legislatures and rules which are being framed at the country level. Well, alcohol is a very, very good thing actually. It's not bad as it is said. When I was doing my training as a neurosurgery trainee, one day in dinner, I was asked to have alcohol. That is called as fellowship. Why do you call it as alcohol? It is a fellowship. So I was asked for the fellowship. I said, never I have tested. So again some of my senior asked to have alcohol. A glass, simple, it's just a fellowship. I said, so again some of my senior. So those kind of, to take alcohol, there are hundreds and thousands of reasons to have alcohol. But to leave alcohol, there are very, very few reasons. So this has become a stigma of this society, that if you are taking alcohol, you are giving a fellowship, you are socializing. If you are not taking alcohol, you are not socializing, no more socializing. If you want to be friends with somebody, it is very important to be little mod. If you are not mod, if you are not taking alcohol, you are not mod. But these are the stories. It does not mean that I want to encourage you to take alcohol. If I am empowered to stop alcohol, I am a man who would like to stop it immediately, today only. But that cannot be done, unfortunately. Well, to take the brief bites as to how did the alcohol start. You see, it was started with beer about 42,000 BC back. It was started in Egypt. So beer, taking beer is not much of a problem. Particularly I am talking to students, once you are abroad, once you are in England, or maybe in Europe, anywhere, if you ask for the drinking water, you may not get water, because it is not a pertinent habit of inhabitants there to have water. But if you ask for beer, immediately you will get a very good brand of beer. So beer was started 4200 BC back. In China, it was fermented with the admixed material of rice, honey and fruit. This was again 7000 BC back. And then ultimately the cereals and other things were taken into use for making alcohol. This is the brief of history. And because of our drinking, the history may repeat again, because of the excessive drinking, these two countries, Egypt and China, the downfall occurred during 1600 BC or so. So if you take more and more alcohol, there are likely chance that downfall may also occur. As it is obviously, it is one of the intoxicant. And as per the Article 47 of the India, it is the state's responsibility that all the intoxicants other than the drugs should be prohibited. It is same as the responsibility of improving health, nutrition, and improving the life of the people is incorporated in Article 47 in Constitution of India. It is a right. It is a constitutional right not to have intoxicants. So here we are deliberately doing that kind of exercise. So we are willfully taking an intoxicant which is harmful to our body, as it has been seen by a number of studies. First time one scholar in Greece, seeing the adverse effect of the alcohol, he thought that it should not be taken in excessive amount. He suggested that moderate amount of the drinking should be allowed. So that is how it was allowed in the era of 460 to 320 BC. And Plato was the first person. You think the history is going very long back. Plato was the first person who said that below 18 the alcohol should not be allowed. This is very detrimental. The more you increase the age for the buying of the alcohol, probably the incidence of alcohol is going to be decreased, because it is a fascination for younger generation. In our country, where children below 25 years were not taking, now even 12 years students, it is very much rampant in schools also. It has become almost a fashion to have alcohol. So this is something what is very unfortunate for this country. So Plato said that under 18 it should not be allowed. Between 18 to 30 it should be allowed in the moderate quantity, and beyond 30 of course it should be permissible. But somehow it could not hold water for very longer time, and the age, despite of increasing, it kept on decreasing in order to have more and more alcohol market all over the globe. In 11th century, one of the physicians, he deciphered that the inflammation in the liver was found on account of excessive consumption of the alcohol, which he treated with the pomegranate syrup, and somehow the patient improved. I don't know whether it has any effect, but because of abstinence probably he could treat the toxicity happen with the liver. Now it is very important to realize many good things are not happening in our country and bad things are happening in our country. This is one of the examples. The consumption of alcohol is increasing in India. However, it is towards the decreasing trend in Western countries. See the other way around. We are top in so many other things. We are top in accidents. Every minute we have one accident, every fourth minute one person dies in this country. On one hand, we are increasing the incidence of the accidents, and alcohol contributes to nearly 20% of the accidents, head injuries in particular. So the consumption of alcohol is steadily increasing in our country. Vis-a-vis, it is decreasing in Western world. And it is so much so that the Indian particularly, they take the hard drinks. It is not the soft drinks. They take more intoxicants in order to harm the body more. So much so that 62 million people in our country probably take the alcohol. The figure may be relatively more, because these studies are done particularly in the bigger towns and small villages, who are the manufacturers of the village liquor are not taken into consideration while calculating these statistics. Per capita consumption has also increased in our country surprisingly. One can say that it may be on account of progress of the country. It is the transition stage of the country. The country was very poor before independence. It was struggling with so many problems. The more and more monetary gains have occurred, the development have occurred, the more and more socialization has started occurring. So that is how, and you know, India is the third largest market for the alcohol. So India is gaining popularity for alcohol, and probably in days to come it is going to enhance further. Sale of alcohol over the years has increased in India from 6% to 8%. So that means we are prompting our issues and children to take alcohol more and more, because obviously it is the symbol of status nowadays. But as we have heard today, it is no more a symbol, it is no more a fashion, it's no more fascination, it's not a socialization, it's not even fellowship. It is something you are taking to harm your body and the systems of body, rather than making any beneficial effect. About 80% of the alcohol consumption, as I have said, is the hard liquor in our country. It's not a beer, it's not a soft drink, it's not something to give ease to your mind. It is something to harm your systems, to damage your liver, to damage your intestine, to damage your brain, to damage so many other organs, coordination, cerebellum, and all the systems of body. Branded liquors account for 40% of alcohol consumption in our country. That means rest of the liquors are country made. So today we are not even sure as to how much liquor is produced in our country in villages, where this sugar cane and so many other grains and so many other dried fruits are taken into use to manufacture the liquor. And it is very much sold in the villages, so much so that once the liquor is banned in few of the states, this desi liquor is very vividly available all around. And I know the town very close to this place that is called Muzaffarnagar. I don't think anybody is devoid of having alcohol in that town. It's quite a big town. It's a sign of progress in that way. So it is not only the branded liquor, it is the liquor produced on the village side is equally bad, is more toxic, and you keep on seeing these newses that sometimes whole of the helmet dies because of the consumption of the toxic liquor. So there is no control in our country, and we have no legislation as to how should it be stopped. It is absolutely unlicensed. This is produced, and this is produced in entire village. The industry is running unabated, unchecked, and this is sold also relatively with lesser money, less investment is required, and that is how. And in Uttarakhand, once we are talking about Uttarakhand, probably every village of Uttarakhand is preparing the liquor, irrespective of the fact that we were talking about males and females. You must be aware that in Uttarakhand, the females are the earning members and males, they just enjoy liquor. So I asked someday as to what is the job of these males. Some intelligent person said that they have only one job. I said, what is that? Their job is just to marry a good female who can earn the liquor for them. This is how this state is running. So it's on the lighter side, but this is true. Females, the women do everything for the men, and the main job of men is to drink and enjoy. That is how the story goes on. Well, the age is also very important. From 1950 to 1960, the average age to start with alcohol was 23 years. Now with the advances, with modernization, industrialization, socialization, development, incrementation in the socio-economic status, this age has reduced to 19 years. Now anybody who has crossed 18 years can walk and ask for the liquor. So liquor, there is no system. These children who have just come out of the earth, they have started crawling, they have been licensed to take the liquor, to consume the liquor. Something needs to be done for this also. The brain is not mature enough at this stage. Though you are full of knowledge by internet, but where is the wisdom? Wisdom does not come in the internet. It does not come through the knowledge. Wisdom is something different, which comes with the experience, which comes with the knowledge, which comes with the with reading, and there are so many factors taken together to bring the wisdom. So here you see, and it is not restricted to 19 years now. Now even it has been seen in schools that these 12 years, 13 years aged boys also are very, very much fascinated with the liquor. Well, it has become, as I have said in morning, that still India is good in a way that nearly more than 13%, maybe 12% female don't take liquor. They have never tasted it. The same way nearly good number of the males, they have also not tasted liquor. It's not that everybody is taking liquor. This is also a problem to the international market. They are seeing it to be a big market in this country. They are trying to encash these people, those who are not taking liquor, and licensing and so many rules have been relaxed for international market to come and sell their liquor. And you know, nowadays there is a trend in our country. Whenever we go abroad, we take one or another brand of the liquor, and we feel very privileged and proud that yes, I have got. It's a pure German made. It is very phenomenal. It's very fantastic. One of my friend, when I go to take examination, he tries to serve me a very special kind of liquor, and he says, "You open this bottle," as if by opening this bottle I am going to get some kind of Nobel Prize. It is so fascinating. Sometimes even there is sometimes is passed just by saying, no sir, you open, I open. I don't take it. I don't take it. I don't relish it. It causes gastritis immediately to my tummy whenever I taste it. No, this brand is very special. You know, this costs 12,000 rupees. Even if the bottle is empty, this will also be sold in 2,000 or 3,000 rupees. So this kind of fascination is there for the liquor. You see, the bottle is appreciated, and it is encased in very good, fascinating covers and envelopes, as if something from heaven has been brought down on the earth to relish with. So this kind of fascination is there. जैसे आप इंद्र की सभा में चले गए हो. Many times when the patient is operated, I as a neurosurgeon used to ask them कि भाई बेहोशी के बाद इंद्र की सभा में तो नहीं चले गए थे, क्योंकि because it gives a kind of hallucination, it gives a kind of sensations as if you have been taken away from this earth for some times. So this kind of fascination is there in this country, and the social norms. Of course, the country has grown over the years. The middle class has particularly grown. Upper and lower middle class, both these segments of this country have grown too much. Urbanization, increased availability, high intensity mass marketing, relaxation of overseas trade rules. On this issue, to me, I am not the particular person for you. So once it becomes a habit, it is very difficult to stop it. Once you have overproof desire, that means once you have addiction to take it, it is very difficult to stop. So why to indulge on an activity which is very difficult to be stopped with? It is very important, very pertinent not to indulge into such activities. Who says? No doctor has said ever you to take alcohol. Why to take alcohol? Somebody asked me, some journalist asked me कि डॉक्टर साहब वो तो दवाई में भी देते हैं. मैंने कहा भाई साहब कितनी देते हैं ये भी तो पढ़ लीजिए. I said it is only 8% diluted. तो कितनी ले सकते हैं? 2 पटियाला पैक. मैंने कहा नहीं, पूरी बोतल पी जाओ, वही ज़्यादा अच्छा है. So such kinds of arguments and counter arguments are there. So those who take, they enjoy it, and those who don't take, they really don't enjoy and never try to enjoy the alcohol. Trauma, incidence of trauma has increased. You see, the country is leading in trauma. Country, we don't have road safety today. There are not more than 12% of the roads in this country who stand with the standard norms. The vehicles have increased so much in number. Am I taking too much time, sir? I can finish any time. I am in habit of talking too much, though these are not the slides made by me. So, so, so in the country where we don't have standard roads, we don't have traffic rules, we don't have safety measures, we don't have the legislation at place, we don't have licensing to the appropriate level, we don't get our vehicle repaired duly, we are in habit of using the one and vehicles also. In such place, the trauma has increased, violence has increased. Trauma means head trauma, and this trauma I am talking here is the trauma created by husband to his wife, which madam has already said how to sort it out. So there is no problem. I would not mind if you also grow and sort it out that way. But the incidence of trauma, violence, organ system damage has already spelled about. Various cancers, of course. Why to buy this damn thing if it is so detrimental, so harmful? Unsafe sexual practices. Oh, this is something going to create disaster in our country. This is going to cause the HIV infections because you lose the inhibition. Some of the students ask in morning, when you don't have inhibition and you are very crazy, and if you have unsafe sexual practices, these are also going to compromise your life. So these things needs to be stopped. These safety measures must be taken. Nutrition, my teacher Professor Kumar has already dealt with. This also needs to be taken care because the vitamin deficiency, which is very essential for the myelinization of the brain and nerves, that also suffers by the alcohol. Why to take such a thing? Hazardous drinking was significantly associated with severe health problem. This already has been said. As I have said, 15 to 20% of traumatic brain injuries are on account of alcohol consumption. So this is going to take your life. Someday one of the alcoholic walked to my OPD. Second time he had head injury in Uttarakhand itself before few days back. Rajneesh was there. Rajneesh is my co-neurosurgeon. I think Rajneesh was not there. So I tried to scold him. Why do you drink when you have sustained twice head injury? He kept on listening. His son was also there who was doing B.Tech. I tried to scold him. Third time if you came with this, I will not see you. Then also he remained silent. Then I said, your son is so educated and you are doing such a bad practice. Why don't you stop it? वो बोला देखना हो तो देखिए, मुझे लेक्चर मत दीजिए. आपको क्या जाता है मैं दारू पी लेता हूँ? अरे आपको देखना है देखिए, नहीं देखना है ना देखिए, मैं बंद क्यों कर दूँ? अरे मैं शाम को थोड़ी ले लेता हूँ, आपको क्या दिक्कत है भाई? आपसे पैसे मांगने आता हूँ. So we are laughing now, but it was difficult to manage at that time. So ultimately my security, my gunner was there probably. He took this man out. He said, हाँ मैं तुझे बताता हूँ. I said, don't scold him because he is the addict of alcohol, and at this stage it is very difficult to convince him. So what I want to say, in public hospitals also, the head injuries, everywhere the incidence of head injury has increased. 17% of the psychiatric emergencies are on account of alcohol consumption. Of course, when they take alcohol, they pretend to be psychiatrists because that is the golden opportunity when they can scold their wives, they can scold neighbors, they can settle the scores pending for a long time. So 17% emergencies of the psychiatry they constitute of alcoholics, and 34% of the people, particularly youngsters who try to commit suicide, are alcoholic. So these are the drawbacks of the alcohol. 30% absenteeism is there, and 40% accidents are witnessed at workplace once the alcohol practices keeps on going. Annual loss, you can see 70,000 to 80,000 million per year. It's a massive loss to the country. And the industries who have stopped alcohol, their incidence of injuries have gone drastically down to 1/4 from the previous data. 85% of the, we were talking about the violence on the females, 85% of the violence on the wives occur following alcohol consumption. It's a significant figure. And more than half of the abusive language, they are in habit of abusing. This also, they abuse their wife, they abuse their son, they abuse their issues. This also is on account of alcohol. Much of expenditure is drained, which should be availed for the good food, for the good nutrition, for the education of the children, for the well-being of the family, is consumed by the way of alcohol. So economically also it is draining lot of money. Lot many divorces and separations are occurring. If the wife revolts for the alcohol, the husband threats that if you create ruckus, I am going to divorce you. So this is how the things are going on. The incidence is not less, is quite heavy incidence, and because of the modernization, increasing industrialization, increasing resources, no tolerance, the rate of separation has already increased in this society. Why to invite another trouble to cause separation? So at all costs this should be stopped. As far as the policies are concerned, you know, in our country there are no strong policies. We could not make even for the road traffic accident, what to talk about alcohol, which is earning lot of exchequer to the government. So we could not make a policy for the alcohol, though it is under the state, it is the state responsibility. By and large, health issue itself is the state responsibility. The nutrition is the state's responsibility. The elevation of the living standard is the state responsibility. To prevent the intoxication is the state's responsibility. The states should take the lead at the state level because it comes under the purview of states. Now the states where the prohibition has been withdrawn, particularly in Haryana and Andhra, the incidence of alcohol consumption has increased. Legal age in different states varies from 18 to 25 years. If this age is increased, mere raising the age to buy the alcohol can reduce the incidence of alcohol consumption drastically. If it is raised to 21, 60% of the reduction in consumption of alcohol can occur. Because once the youngster starts taking alcohol, the day is not far when he becomes addict. He develops addiction, he develops overfood desire, he develops physical problems if he does not take. So that is how the incidence of alcohol consumption has increased, and this can be decreased also. Cable television have prohibited, and same is true about the tobacco. You see, I believe strongly, though it may not be practicable, Dr. Mishra may agree because he is a cancer surgeon, that if the tobacco in all form is prohibited today, the incidence of cancer, which is reported to be very high, probably going to dip down to 30% or 40% or so. Though the cancer surgeon says that 60% of the cancers can be stopped. So we could not formulate a policy even for the tobacco. And in Uttarakhand, 60% of the males and female are in habit of taking tobacco in one or other form, and less than 60% are alcoholic. Now how the policies should be formulated? These are the agencies: Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, United Nations Drug Control Program, International Labour Organization, and NGOs. These are the bodies, if they have firm conviction to devise or to introduce some kind of legislation, I find no reason as to why the alcohol cannot be stopped in this country. But as we know, hardly too much has been done on this aspect, and it needs to be done. We will discuss that also. As a doctor, if we cannot do too much about it, at least we can frame a guideline, and at least it can be placed at proper place in days to come, so that sometimes, if not today, someday when the politicians and media takes over, maybe some kind of activity and policy can be framed against the alcohol. This also comes, this reproductive maternal child care and adolescent care, this also come under NRHM. As far as because it is a health problem, this also come under this ministry, and National Mental Health Program, because brain is the worst sufferer by the alcohol. The same way, National Non-Communicable Disease Control Program. Under these headings, if the legislation is brought, the rules are framed, then probably we can strictly implement the rules, impose the rules in the community and society. It is very much doable. This can be done, and I am reasonably sure that in days to come it will be done. There are few NGOs which are working to stop the alcohol consumption. This is one of the NGO, Indian Alcohol Policy Alliance. This agency is working up to some extent, but without rules nothing works in this country. This organization was started in 2004, and they are trying to make people aware about the harmful and detrimental effects of the alcohol. Intervention, advocacy and capacity building are the other criteria. Taxes from the tobacco and alcohol are very much, we earn too much of revenue from these things, but at the cost of the health of the citizens of this nation. I don't think this should be invited. It seems to be uncalled. If you generate revenue at the cost of health, which remains an important fundamental right of the health in Constitution, I find no reason as to why should such revenue be needed for this country. It is better to do loss for treating these ailments rather than taxing on these commodities which are harmful. Well, these are your god and goddess, Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha, Daksh Prajapati. These are published in World Best Pediatric Neurosurgery Journal. I have tried to make them scientists of this country, neuroscientists, and they are published on the cover pages. And it is just to show you that the neurosciences in this country was there when world did not witness it. Thank you very much to tolerate me.